I would have done anything. I would have done anything to have more time. Did I have 3 months? Did I have 6 months? Did I have a year? I was always staying in good shape so that I could be the best mom to Jackson and my kids. I didn't really have risk factors for lung cancer, let alone cancer at all. We knew I had always had asthma, but on the other hand, I had been a Zumba instructor. I had taught fitness classes. And then fast forward 19 years, it's the pandemic, and I developed this cough that is first treated as pneumonia. Everybody's doing telehealth there. So you're, at that point, so you're not going in anywhere. And from there, things just kind of progress and escalate. And I find myself in the emergency room alone, texting my children and my parents uh, as we're trying to figure out what is wrong with the mother who's never needed any help. And suddenly here I am gasping for breath. Come to find out, my right lung was completely smushed. It was 2 liters of fluid that had been crushing that lung. But when I went in there, the level of attention and care that I received was quite alarming. They were all over me, immediately whisking me through triage, asking me a million questions. They got me into a bed, and I immediately had a team around me. A pulmonologist comes in and starts talking about the scans and that there were tumors. No, absolutely never heard the term biomarker. I was pretty fluent in the cerebral palsy world and the neonatal realm. And as much as I had the general terms for cancer, no, I really hadn't. I mean, obviously I knew what a biopsy was, but not biomarker testing. And she also, this pulmonologist, again, right there, started explaining next generation sequencing and biomarker testing. Started with the tissue biopsy. I had the tissue biopsy, and they did explain they were going to do some in-house testing with that and then send it out to a specialty lab that would then dive further into it and look exactly at the makeup of the cancer. That was the first thing. And about 4 days later, we got the call that indeed it was lung cancer. My dad happened to be at my house, and we stood on the front lawn, like hugging and crying. My daughter was then just 17, going into her senior year, and was like, wait, this is still cancer here. Like, what are we celebrating? But we explained that potentially I did have a mutation. I did have a certain kind of lung cancer that could be treated differently.
Yeah, one of the hardest parts of cancer care is not always the treatment itself. It's actually very sometimes in the beginning when you're waiting to get those biomarker testing results. It can take 2, even 3 weeks. And I want to stress that that wait can absolutely be worth it, because if we find a biomarker that allows your oncology team to deliver a very precise medication that can work very well and hopefully with minimal toxicity and hopefully for a very long time.
We waited a while actually for the tissue biopsy. There were a couple little mishaps along the way.
And that wait, which you can do as a patient, is focus on your mental health, focus on prioritizing your physical health during that time, and writing down any questions that you have for your team. And so I would say, 1, that wait is absolutely worth it. And 2, utilize that wait to your advantage to get stronger from a mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint, and to get ready to get started on your treatment.
We spent a crazy amount of money on fireworks, and my mom played the ukulele every night, and we just celebrated life. We also did depressing things like cleaned out closets, because while everybody was doing that during the pandemic, I was exhausted and didn't know why. So then facing this, did I have 3 months? Did I have 6 months? Did I have a year? I went into a nesting mode. Then I got the call that, I had a genetic mutation. I was ALK positive, and that I would not start with chemo. I would start with 4 pills in the morning, 4 at night. My doctor, my second opinion, who ultimately became my primary oncologist, who I just adore, was like, this is the best news we could have asked for. This is fabulous. Like, the whole treatment landscape has changed. This is what we wanted.
I really commend that the oncologist has found and done biomarker testing to identify this ALK fusion, because I tell my patients in clinic, I don't just want to treat lung cancer, I want to treat your lung cancer. And this is not something theoretical, this is truly clinical, because this is an opportunity to give patients very precise medicine that can hopefully last for years. And in the ALK space, we have data now coming back at 5 years, coming back at 7 years, the CROWN lorlatinib data that is showing us that many patients can live long, durable lives, and hopefully with a very good quality of life. And so this is a meaning and a message of durability and hope.
I am an obsessive researcher too, but I wasn't there at that point. I'm still like trying to not to drown, literally and figuratively. um, so it did. I was already pulling myself out a little, but I think then, it was also this new lease. You Google it, and it actually, and to this day, no one has ever said life expectancy to me. If I Googled it then, it said 7.5 years median. Well, that right then was better than the 3 to 6 months I thought I had from Googling pleural effusion. So right then I knew, okay, we're dealing with some decent statistics here.
Your oncology team is not going anywhere. We are here to support you throughout this journey.
I definitely am a glass half full kind of girl. So I had a hard time sleeping during those nights, and I was scared to be alone. I also couldn't breathe, so I couldn't sleep. But I'd be in the fetal position, but I still didn't let myself stay there. I kind of faced it. I was, devastated. I had just taught my daughter how to drive, and the thought that I wouldn't be able to teach my 10-year-old to drive was really traumatizing, or the fear of that we had never had nursing care, any help for our son, Jackson, and now who was going to help my husband. We were a well-oiled machine, and we went into this knowing that we were always going to be helping each other.
The biggest ALK story from ASCO 2026, we now have some of the longest and most durable targeted therapy data sets ever to be reported in metastatic lung cancer. I take that back. It's not even metastatic lung cancer. It's actually all solid tumors, which is incredible, that story of durability.
Yes, it is fearful, but you can still live with it. It is manageable.
More than half of the patients are still benefiting on their first treatment, which is a pill that they take at home, which is incredible, and it's unheard of to see it this long and this far out. So 55% of patients, again, remained progression-free at a 7-year mark, which is unheard of in this space.
Well, I have another year to get to my 7 years, but I intend to be there.
Patients, they don't want to know what's just going to happen tomorrow. They want to know what's going to happen in many months from now, many years from now. What can they expect, hopefully, right? And one finding that stood out from this update was that if patients were still doing well at 2 years, that they did not have any evidence of cancer growth on first-line lorlatinib, there was nearly an 80% chance that they were still going to be progression-free many years later.
That is truly astounding. It is so amazing to hear that when I was diagnosed, the median life expectancy was 7.5 years. And now we're seeing that patients on first-line treatment can be at 7 years, and that's just where they are, right? We're not even sure beyond. We haven't capped there.
I think the third thing to emphasize from this presentation was brain metastases. And, one of the things that really impressed me wasn't just how long patients lived without progression, it was also where the cancer wasn't progressing. Patients were on lorlatinib, and they did not have any evidence of brain disease or growth of CNS metastases 2.5 years at that milestone. Then they did not see any more progression-free events in the brain. So, wow, that is also something very unheard of. And for me, for patients, for thoracic oncologists who have seen ALK-positive disease have this CNS incidence, have this tropism where it likes to go to the brain, this has always been a big concern. And this is incredibly meaningful to see that protecting the brain is actually happening, and it's lasting for a while.
Yes, ALK-positive cancer can definitely, the brain is one of the areas that it spreads to. I have friends who were diagnosed without any lung system, that one was running a marathon and had a seizure, running a marathon with lung cancer and had a seizure because the cancer actually had gone to their brain. They didn't know they had lung cancer. That was how the cancer was found. Or somebody else that developed a limb suddenly. And again, it was this brain involvement. So, yes, it goes to the brain. It is a scary thing.
And so I think that's very reassuring to be able to tell patients, right?
It's not that there aren't side effects. I'm on blood pressure medications. I've never dealt with blood pressure. I have to have a cardiologist now. I didn't have to. Have that before. I'm also getting older. So some things you try to tease out, but there are, edema and weight gain or extreme rashes that I itch till I bleed. But ultimately, I have a really good quality of life for a stage 4 cancer patient.
And what I tell people is that the goal isn't to keep you on the highest dose. The goal is to keep you on the right dose. But you want to have that data to reassure you. And so the data that we got showed us a few things. One, about a third of patients that are on lorlatinib in their frontline setting, they're going to need a dose reduction. Okay, so they're not alone if you need to make a dose reduction. Almost a third of patients needed it. But only 5% of them had to completely stop the treatment. So very reassuring treatment discontinuation rates. And the most important thing was that even for patients that required a dose reduction, it did not reduce the long-term benefit of this drug. And so that's a breath of reassurance for patients, families, and oncologists, which I really appreciate.
Brings in the challenges of survivorship and long-term living. Like, what a great problem to have, though, but it definitely is a problem. So when you're living with 7 years or more with ALK-positive cancer, your cancer is evolving, it's changing. You might start with certain side effects and then they might go away, or ebbs and flows and new ones present. So there are different challenges to living longer. Again, phenomenal that we're in this space, but it still leaves a lot on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. I shared all of my excitement about the CROWN data, the 7-year overall survival updates. And as exciting as that data is, there's still one major challenge in ALK-positive lung cancer. And that's that eventually many of those cancers still learn how to outsmart even our best targeted therapies. Patients and families are asking, what happens then? What happens next? But so are oncologists. We're asking, okay, what's going to be our plan B, C, D? We want to know ahead of time before we get there. And I think that's where neladalkib and this ALKOVE-1 data came in at ASCO and provided some reassurance. So neladalkib is that 4th generation ALK inhibitor. I told you about the different generations of iPhones. We've gone from 1 all the way up to, I don't know where we're at now on iPhones, 15, 17. In ALK landscape, we're now 1 going into 4. And so this is a 4th generation ALK targeted therapy. And rather than simply being another ALK drug, it was very specifically engineered to overcome things like resistance that can develop after exposure to earlier generation ALK targeted therapies, including lorlatinib.
At ALK Positive, we are so excited. I have many friends that are on this first-line treatment. However, I have many friends that didn't start lorlatinib first line. So while it is amazing, there's still so much work to be done because there's a whole nother population that didn't start with that treatment. Also, there are people who we call our short responders who for some reason they aren't having those same results. So we're celebrating what this CROWN data is showing, but I know that oncologists around the world, researchers, clinicians all want to find out this why, but why is this subset of patients not responding? Why are they, is their cancer progressing? So that's one thing we really need to find out. And then also, we need to continue to push the envelope with different types of treatment for these other patients who didn't start with first-line lorlatinib.
There's so much hope. The hope and the excitement, though, doesn't mean that the journey is going to be easy. There's just even more reason for hope than ever before, and I think that's what I want to stress to patients and their families.
My dad found the ALK Positive website, which then led us to an ALK Positive Facebook community. I had not really been in a support group, so then my dad kind of pushed this ALK Positive support group on me, and it was the biggest gift and such a lifeline was about talking to people who were also living the same life that I would have never met. And you hear, like, I'm telling you about this crazy supportive family that I have, but still nobody gets it quite like somebody actually living it, just like, somebody wouldn't understand being a caregiver quite like somebody else that is a caregiver. So you're not in this alone. Would be my number one piece of advice. You could be surrounded by people and still feel alone. So and people aren't always sure the best way to support or respond to a cancer diagnosis. So even those that love you the most maybe aren't necessarily supporting you in the way that you need. So reach out and find your community of people who are living the same life, because in that common diagnosis, there is a shared bond. They will understand your sick and twisted jokes. They will understand your greatest fears and your little successes that are actually huge successes that just mean different things to different people.